of thought. Open your mind.
Lady cat, lady class, lady Kendra, the unicorn four.
Open your mind.
You know. Thursday. Unicorn four.
Open your mind.
Lady class, lady Kendra, lady cat, lady the unicorn four.
Open your mind.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought Series right here on the old T.L.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, but you know that already. That's why you're here. And of course, tonight is that night that we always wait for, Thursday nights. But I have a bit of bad news for y'all. My table's only going to have 3 legs tonight, y'all, because Lady Ming is not going to be available tonight. We're running behind, so it's just a whole night of bad news. You know, I got caught up today, y'all, and work was crazy, and I had a bunch of mobile calls. My last call, I had to cancel it, and my customer didn't seem too happy about it, and it's been a long day. So, mods, if you would, anybody that come up in here talking crazy, just show them the door, because I'm not having it tonight. Tonight is not the night for people to just be talking crazy. All right. My unicorns, I gotta apologize to y'all. You know, we running behind, you know, because my ass didn't get back up to where I'm supposed to be till late. What's good, Artisan? What's good? Simply Deep. Yeah, you know, so things are running a little behind. I'm just now sending the link to the ladies. As a matter of fact, like literally like 3 minutes ago. So it's just been crazy, man. Been crazy. What's up, Lady Cats? I see you down there.
Hello, how are you?
What's going on? Running late, Lady Cats. A lot of shit going on today, man. Today was just a crazy day.
Well, we all have those days.
Yeah, man. It's crazy as hell. And Lady Ming isn't going to be with us tonight. She's going to be indisposed tonight, so it's just going to be the Unicorn 3 tonight. But it's okay though, because I know even when it's 3 of y'all, the show is going to be lit. So
yeah,
you know, she has some business she had to take care of. So yeah, because she wrote me and she told me, you know. So
okay.
So we will carry it in her honor. Yeah, but what I was saying. What's up, Lady Classic? I see you in the chat room. Lady Kendra, I see you down there. What's going on? Aim Master Gudum. a master, a master Gundam. Oh shit, Don Teasy, what's good, man? Yeah, well, as everybody start to file in tonight's topic. Oh, well, before we get started, um, last night I got a few donations. Those of you who donated, you know who you are, because I always write you a little email to say, thank you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you as a subscriber and all of that. So whoever donated last night, you know who you are. And it is greatly appreciated because everything that you donate to me, I put inside the OTPOT machine because I'm working on trying to make it better to give y'all more enjoyment. What's good, Brother Valdez? I see my man, Brother Valdez, in the house. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. What's good, brother? Yeah. So, I just want y'all to know that those donations that you send in to me, guess what? They go right into this machine to make it better and bring you more mind-opening shit. All right? That's what we do here. That's what we're going to continue to do here, because all I really want to do, all the Prophet of Thought series is really, really all about is opening your minds. Open your mind. That's what it's about, folks. So every penny that you send into me, I make sure it goes back into this machine and continue to bring you some mind-opening content. All right. So I thank you for your contributions, and I thank you for your support, even if you don't give me shit. All right. Anyway, yeah. So tonight, as you can see, the topic is mama always right? Now, we all know the answer to that already, right? We know the answer, right? We know the answer. Y'all can see right down there. You see the title. Also, I want y'all to put some damn likes in this section right here. All right? Need some likes in this section. And also, I need y'all to drop some coins. Let me go ahead and put the link up just in case y'all feeling generous. As you know, every now and then, my subscribers feel generous. So, if you look right about there somewhere, you will see a Streamlab link. Feel free to drop $1 or $2 in the bucket. It is greatly appreciated. But anyway, yeah, the gang's all here. Lady Classic, Lady Cats, Lady Kendra, all here. Like I told y'all earlier, Lady Ming is not going to be with us tonight. She has some business she had to take care of. She wrote me an email, let me know that she wouldn't be here tonight. So it's just a Unicorn 3 tonight, but the subject is going to be good. Is mama always right? Now, we often talk on media, right? And we talk about mamas. We talk about baby mamas. We talk about how moms have a tendency to have somewhat of a good effect on us, but on the other side of that, they often have bad effects on us. For instance, I was just talking to my man about 10-15 minutes ago, and I was telling him how, when I was living in New York, I actually had a side job where I was a nightclub bouncer in New York. I bounced at nightclubs. I did that for like a few years, and I would see women in the club all the time, because when you bounce at a nightclub, you see people, you're there, you work there, and you'd see the women, with the $200 and $300 dresses and the $300 and $400 and $500 hairdos and the lipstick and the gold chains and the red bottom shoes and also kind of nonsense. And you would see those very same women the next day walking up the street looking like holy hell, of course. And the baby's head's nappy, face crusty, their little toes hanging out their damn shoes, and you can look at them and tell they're hungry. And you can look at them and tell that she ain't did their laundry in about 5 weeks. But meanwhile, you just saw her last night in the club looking like Queen Nefertiti. And I don't think women like that, when we talk about women like that, they definitely not right. All right. They just not. I mean, they're not right. All right. Mama's not right. Okay. She's not. If she's doing that to those children. Okay. If she's taking whatever resources she have and investing most of it in her and not the little ones, she ain't right. We also talk about the women who spend a lot of their time effeminizing the young men, teaching the young men to be like them. They basically girls with dicks for the most part. They're not right because they have failed to bring male energy into these young men's lives. And I blame them. I blame them because people will say, oh, well, you know, the father not in their life and this and that. Yeah, that may be true. But once a woman gets the knowledge of that, once she done figured out, you know, that the kid father smoked crack or he done moved to the other side of the world, he said to hell with the kids, whatever the case may be. Once she has come to that realization, the onus is now on her to make sure that this child or these children have some degree of balance. And when I say balance, I don't mean her black ass talking about she the mother and the father, because that's just stupid. Whenever I hear a woman say that, I just think she's stupid. Yeah, she's just stupid. When she, oh, I'm the mama and the daddy. Shut up. No, you're not. That's stupid. So when you have these people who have failed in giving these children balance, they ain't right. Mama ain't right. So let me go ahead and ask the unicorns, because the unicorns are women and they could come at it from a different perspective. So let me just lead right in with this. And the unicorn 4 knows that, you know, we've talked about this kind of thing before, but we're going to talk about it a little different tonight. So let me ask you, ladies, do you believe that the women that neglect these children, instead of buying these children some food to last them for a week or two, they go out and buy $300 worth of hair? Instead of buying these kids clothes and sneakers, they go out and buy them a $200 and $300 dress. These women, what is your take on these women, unicorns?
My take on a woman who prefers to spend all that money on like frivolous things instead of like food or appropriate clothes for their children, or just like anything that goes to the well-being of the child, is that, you know, they probably have somebody, like some sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, system there to help them take care of everything. Like I'll just use my aunt as an example. So the reason why my aunt feels that she can spend all her money on clothes and hair and stuff is because if she doesn't feel like taking care of her kids, she always has my grandmother to go to. Or if she needs a bill paid, she always has a boyfriend she can go to or something. So I think the reason why they do that is because society and certain people in the family or like friends basically enable it. You know, I mean, if somebody's gonna take, if if you give somebody an out, they're probably going to take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed. Next.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Lady Classic, we can hear you.
Fantastic, and good evening, sir.
What's going on, lady?
Oh, well, it's going to be a great topic, I can tell already.
Oh, absolutely.
So I guess for me, when I look at these women, I really take the evolutionary psychology approach. And so from an evolutionary psychology standpoint, then I would think that these women were born and raised in, if not poverty, then in really rough times where, food was scarce, parental investment for them was scarce, as in their parents weren't really investing in them. They might have grown up in danger, and other places that basically told their bodies from an early age that, you know what, this is not a safe and secure type of environment that you're going to be born and raised into, and that, life is unsure. Because from an evolutionary psychology standpoint, at that point, what happens is your body starts preparing from a very early age to be sexually mature. So you sexually mature earlier, you engage in sexual activity earlier, you end up having children earlier, you have a lot more children from an earlier age, and you actually invest in them less. So each individual child gets a lot less of your attention from the first one to the fifth or sixth one or whatever. You don't really invest in your children. This is something that's been going on for like tens of thousands of years now. We can go back to hunter-gatherer societies and see that it happens. So what it is these women are not breaking the cycle that they've been born into, because it would be literally fighting against not only the socialization as Kat spoke about, but there's also a biological standpoint there. Whereas in their biology tells them that what is the point in investing in any one child or all of your children? It's not going to change the outcome for any of these children. Of course, in the 21st century, with the way society has now, you've got welfare and you've got all these other the child support system and whatever, that's obviously further enabling and helping these women further engage in this behavior, instead of being able to stop and take a look and say, hey, you know what, there are women out there that don't treat their children like this, and who don't see their children as just something that's out of me now, oh well, I can go back to the way life was. Hey, maybe there's something wrong with the way I see that. So I do think that the way that we've socialized the issue now, it's only making matters worse. But I will definitely say that there's definitely a biological component, in my opinion.
Was Lady Kendra back? You're back, Lady Kendra?
We can't hear you.
Nope. We cannot hear you, Lady Kendra.
I don't know what's wrong with Hangouts. This has been happening to me too, where I have to sign in 3 or 4 times for anyone to hear me. It's crazy.
I know what's wrong with it. It's freaking garbage.
Yes, definitely.
Garbage. Well, the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight is because, Mother's Day is coming up, and we as people, we have a tendency to put our mothers on such high pedestals. Most of us, especially in Black society, because most of us are raised by our moms. I mean, that's just, most of us, we end up living with our moms. All right. The bulk of us don't live with our fathers. We either live with our mom or maybe with our mom and a father. But for the most part, most of us growing up in Black society, we growing up with our old mama. That's just the way it is. We can pathologize about it. We can go into a whole is because of white supremacy and all this old kind of nonsense. But it is what it is. That's just what it is. So our mothers in Black society have more influence on us than anyone else, for the most part. Most of us, not all of us, but most of us. So we have to drill down into that when we look at what's going on with Black society. Okay. Now, not to say that the things that go on in Black society are all these mothers' faults. Of course not. I don't believe that either. But I believe a lot of shit that happens in it is their goddamn fault. And I'll tell you why. Especially when you have a group of individuals who have been raised by these women who don't give a shit about their kids. They monkey branching from penis to, penis to penis. As they let one go, they're grabbing the next one. They're doing that. Baby after baby after baby after baby after baby. I think that is like the most irresponsible thing in the world, especially when you having baby after baby after baby after baby by different dudes. Okay, it's not like you got 6, 7 babies by one dude. Okay, you got 6, 7 babies by a few dudes, and they're like 9, and then 8, and then 7, and then 6, and then 5, and then 4. Woman, you monkey branching from penis to penis. So you can't tell me that you're responsible as far as those kids are concerned. I'm not trying to hear that. That's a fucking mess. And you're irresponsible. And you done forgot the first kid you had. You done had this. You have disregarded that kid. And then you disregard kid number 2, kid number 3, kid number 4. Because see, all you're thinking about is you, your own satisfaction, satisfying your funky pussy, as opposed to taking care of these children, man, that you have had, investing into these children that you have had, sitting back thinking, damn, if I have 2 kids instead of 8, I may be able to take care of them better, So what action gets forced? They're forcing the action because if you take, for instance, if you get a woman who's saddled with, say, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids, okay, and they all got different daddies and shit, more often than not, her ass broke, right? She's living in poverty. The kids is eating roaches, all right? They're eating roaches and leaves, basically, all right? She probably got them living from pillow to goddamn post, all right? Their little toes and shit is hanging out, their shoes, their hair's nappy, their face crusty, their clothes is dirty. Most of the time, that's what you're going to see. Most of the time. I know. I go to the ghettos and shit. I be in the ghettos. I see this shit. I see it. Kids running around looking like little fucking Ethiopians in fucking America. All right. And that same goddamn woman that got them kids looking like little fucking Ethiopians in America, her black ass in the goddamn club and in the trap house every goddamn Friday and Saturday, spending what little minuscule amount of money that she does have. Instead of spending that shit on them kids, she's spending it on herself, trying to find the next dude to squirt another baby in her for her to goddamn neglect. So when I see shit like that, that shit pisses me off because, see, if you're a woman and you have kids, right, and you have children, you would think that the children would be the focus, the main focus, all right? Not red bottom shoes, not blonde wigs that cost $400, and not the next damn dude. You would think they would be drilling down and focusing on these children, but they're not. So in my estimate, they're not really like mothers, okay? Not really. They're not really mothers. All right. They're mothers biologically, but they're not being these children's moms. Because a lot of these damn women, they stopped being those children's mom long after they fell out the hole. Okay. Right after they fell out the hole, that's it. They done being their mom and shit. They're their mom long as they carrying them around for 8, 9 months. Once they fall out of that old funky hole, that's it. They're no longer their mom. So let me ask you ladies this. Whenever you see a woman, for instance, when you see a woman walking around pregnant, right? What crosses your mind? I know it crosses my mind. What crosses your mind when you ladies see a woman pregnant? I mean, big and pregnant, not the little pouch or whatever. I'm talking about pregnant where she waddling like a penguin, looking like she about to bust. What crosses y'all mind? Then I'll tell you what crosses mine.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I see it so often, I don't really think much of it. I mean, kind of grew up around that type of stuff. So, I mean, like, sometimes I'll think it's odd if, like, say I'm in the grocery store and she's there by herself and maybe she wants to get like a pack of water or something and like nobody's there to help her, like I'm all like, where's your man? You know, where's your husband or something? But you know, she might have a husband, but he not with her. But then I'm like, why ain't he with her? Or, you know, but for the most part, I kind of just stayed to myself and be like, well, let me mind my own business.
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, Lady Kendra,
Yes,
we can hear
ma'am.
you.
Yay!
Now I gotta sit here with this headset on. Y'all don't know. I spend 8 to 10 hours every day with a headset on. You don't know how mad I am to have this headset on my head. But
Mm,
We
anyway,
appreciate you.
yes, we appreciate you going through the torture for us.
Yay.
what do I think when I see pregnant women? I don't think anything when I see pregnant women. Um, it sort of depends on what the context is that I'm seeing her in. Because just a
Mhm.
pregnant woman on her own doing normal stuff doesn't make me think anything negative. But if I see some shenanigans happening and she's pregnant, that shit pisses me off, like fighting, or if she looks like she's in abject poverty herself and she is pregnant, that actually I don't like that because that child is going to be born into poverty and a hard life. And since the child isn't asking to be here, that is quite unfair. So that's what I think. Sometimes it depends on the context that I see her.
Mm.
Well, for myself, I don't really think anything when I see pregnant ladies. I notice two things. I notice age, if they're very young. So I'll notice if they're really young or if they seem age appropriate to have a child, in my opinion. And the second thing I notice and I automatically look for is wedding band. So I look to see whether or not they are married, engaged, something like that, while walking around pregnant or not. But like as far as deeper thought than that, not really. And even from noticing that if they're really young, then I just think like, man, that kid and that kid that she's about to produce, I have no idea what they're in store for. Um, but like as far as like even noticing the ring or not, I don't make any judgments or think anything further. There just happen to be things I take note of.
Well, me, when I see a woman pregnant, the first thing I do is I look at the geographical location. Um, if I see a pregnant woman in the ghetto, I know there's a pretty good chance that this kid's gonna be born right into fucking BS and probably not gonna know his father. He's gonna be eating roaches with a side of rat head soup. Um, he's probably gonna grow his whole life. He's probably, especially if she's pregnant and she's got other kids with her that look like they ain't ate in 2 days. Their heads is nappy, their face is crusty, and their toes is hanging out their shoes. They're wanting her baby. Oh, unless he gonna fall out of that old funky hole with a fistful of $100 bills, he's destined for the same thing. If she's already pushing a stroller or have two little kids behind her and they look like little Ethiopians with little nappy heads and crusty faces, what's this other one gonna come out with? Unless he falling out of there with a two fistful of $100 bills, he is destined for the same shit. If anything, it's gonna be worse because see now the roaches are gonna be divided by 3 instead of by 2. So that's what I see, depending on what I see in the geographical location. Now, if I see a woman walking with a man and she's pregnant, that gives me hope. It gives me hope because possibly this man may remain in this child's life. And I think that that's very important because that is not always right. I'm a true believer that a lot of these women destroy these children. They destroy their daughters and they destroy their sons. They destroy them by the shit that they teach them. Because, see, they have a tendency to give these children an education, but the education is in reverse. All right. The shit they should be showing these children, they're not showing it. And all the shit that they should be keeping away from these children are getting a heavy dose of it, especially when you talk about in the ghettos. Now, I'm not saying everybody in the ghetto is just this ratchet, crazy mama, but it's way more of them than it should be. And a lot of these kids who are growing up in these environments, even the ones that are growing up in the environment where they're not necessarily living in poverty, they're growing in these environments where they have these mamas who spend all their time on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and all this kind of crap, taking selfies and poking their lips out and poking their ass out. And their kids are walking around seeing this. So what impression is that leaving? Let me ask you, ladies, what impression you think is being left on these children who are 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years old, and they watching mama constantly taking selfies for Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram, constantly seeing mama showing her ass, constantly seeing mama trying to change the look and change the wig and pretend she's an Instagram mama, Instagram goddamn model, while she's got these 4 little ones running around that she can barely take care of. What do you ladies believe that does to those little children?
Well, I know with the parents who like to stay on Facebook all the time. I mean, I see it all the time with like women in their mid-20s who have young kids. Their kids having cell phones and iPads and tablets and stuff, but you know, they don't let their kids like do anything, I guess, educational on the thing. They just, you know, they want to be like, well, I need to have a phone so that you know where I am. And it's like, okay, if your child's like what, 10 years old, where's your child going to go where you wouldn't know where they are? They're either at school or something, but you know, gotta have the child's now obsessed with the parent is obsessed. Every time mom, they see them talking on the phone or Facebook thing. I guess stuff, you know, growing up, you either got a child is their mother or they're going to reject their mother completely, or you know, reject what she does. That's what I've noticed with children who are raised by a particular type of woman.
You know, as far as the mother being on social media, taking selfies, this, that, and the third, um, for me, that's not the most damaging part, because not everything that she's gonna do, not everything a father would do is child appropriate because they're adults. My biggest issue isn't when the adult is on social media so much as when they exploit their children to be on it. Um, it's bad enough if she twerks on a video and uploads it to Instagram. It's when she has her 6-year-old daughter doing it, or her son, and they twerking because that's all she does, and they cheer it on, which I find to be sexual exploitation of children. But what do I know? A few years ago, because I got rid of my Facebook in 2014, so it's at least 4 or 5 years ago. I actually called out a woman on Facebook. I didn't know her, but her stuff kept coming up on my feed, and typical ratchet stuff. Um, and she actually posted a video of her little daughter, couldn't have been no more than about 6 or 7, twerking, and she was doing all these real sexual. And the sad part about it is she was good at it, which means that she had a lot of time to study it because her mother's doing it. Um, so everybody, I don't know what part was sadder, the exploitation of the little girl or the congratulatory comments, all from Black women, thinking that it was cute. So I commented and said, so you know you're sexually exploiting a little girl, your little girl, right? And there will be pedophiles that come across this video that would like nothing more than to watch her gyrate on that floor like that. And of course, I got cursed out. Who are you? You know, who the F is you? And all this other kind of stuff. You know, what are you? You know, you don't know me? And blah, 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 blah. You know, a million excuses and deflections. And eventually I got blocked because I came back and said, I don't have to know you, but I do know that you are sexually exploiting a prepubescent girl. And so that really got me blocked from her, which I didn't care, but I had to say something because that's what I feel is the most damaging part. They watching her do whatever the hell it is she does because she doesn't have sense enough to do adult appropriate things not in front of her children. Okay? If you want to twerk, let that be somewhere with your man, not in the house with your kids and all this other craziness. You know what I'm saying? The children should not be exposed to whatever adult activities you have going on because they are watching. And do as I say, not as I do, does not work. You have to show children, not just tell them, because she or he is gonna pick up on what you're doing and they're gonna copy it, and then she'll want to get mad and beat the shit out of her daughter when she catches her at 15 making a twerk video. But you had her doing it at 6 on the same social media platform. So what's the difference?
Exactly.
Um, well, I think in regards to something like taking selfies or et cetera, I don't think in and of itself that is a major issue. I mean, I loved cameras and the flash from a camera from the time I was a baby before I was even one. So I don't think that there's an inherent issue with that. Now, if they're taking pictures of themselves rather than maybe paying attention to the child who's maybe crying, asking for something, and whatever, because social media is so important that their kids come second. So hold on, mommy's just posting a selfie. Hold on, mommy's just chatting with her friend. Hold on, mommy's just whatever. Well, then that becomes a problem because at that point, what you're telling this kid is that social media is more important than everything else. Which then in and of itself trains these kids from a young age to think that social media is more important than everything else, being popular. You know, that's when you're looking at the likes and the clicks and people doing ridiculous things like sucking on tampons just to go viral. Because they think really that the only thing that matters is going viral. The only thing that matters is the computer screen and social relationships, real ones in real life with the human beings sitting in the same room as you, are not as important at all. And so from that issue, obviously that would be really huge. I think that when it comes down to this technological era and this kind of millennial generation that was born and raised in technology, and they weren't reared by parents who even understood technology. So, I mean, they didn't understand. I mean, we had a whole bunch of parents not understanding this concept that 90-year-old men are going to sit there and pose as 13-year-old boys, and stuff like that. 13 pretend they're 13-year-old girls to lure the sun away. So there was a lot of growth and learning that had to happen. But in essence, in a lot of ways, millennials kind of raised themselves when it came to technology, and now a lot of them are becoming young parents, and they're kind of lost as far as technology and technological priorities. And they don't have, I think, footing as far as what behavior they should and shouldn't model and how it will and won't affect their kids. So I think that a big thing would be, I mean, just like we were saying, screen time, too much TV time for your kids is too much. And you shouldn't watch TV for 8 hours a day because guess what? Your kids are watching it too. I think that we need to, a little bit when it comes to technology, instead of saying, well, this is grown folks stuff, we need to be modeling that behavior. So if you don't want your kids to think that social media is the be all end all and to be taking pictures of themselves and sending them and posting them everywhere because that's what you're showing them, then what you've got to do when it's during the daytime is limit social media interaction. When you do, it has to be something that is child friendly and whatever. And at the end of the day, maybe just save taking those sexy shots and whatever for nighttime, because that's adult time, in the same way that your parents didn't watch the stuff with swearing or sexy stuff or whatever until you were supposed to be in bed and you had to sneak out and crawl around corners to see it. You kind of think about it from that perspective. So I think that we're too loose and free with social media and with technology these days. And we don't really know how it's going to impact our kids in the long run. But I can't really imagine that with how engrossed people are in social media and how much it's impacting social relationships negatively, that anything a parent is doing, especially excessively in front of their even toddlers and young children, is going to be beneficial.
Well, I know this to be true, and I'm going to say most. Maybe it's not every single individual, but I'm going to say most. When you talk about men, most men are a lot less tolerant than mama. Men, we don't put up with most bullshit. We just don't, okay? Especially when it comes to our children and our daughters, okay? Men, we're not going to be letting our 5-year-old daughter twerk in the middle of the living room. We're not going to be doing that. And we're not going to be filming it and posting it on goddamn Facebook. That is more so a mother thing. When you see these type of things going on, it's usually this child and this child's mother doing this shit. That's just a fact. I mean, you're not going to see some guy with his 5 or 6 or 7-year-old daughter and he's got the camera while the 7-year-old daughter is twerking in the kitchen and he's taping it saying, "Go ahead, girl." Nah, you're probably not going to see that. So men, we are a little less tolerant of that kind of shit. But mothers have a tendency to, well, let me rephrase. Mothers have a tendency to do this type of shit when the father's not around. A woman's probably less likely to be letting her daughter doing that, letting her daughter do that kind of stuff when the father lives there or has readily access to that daughter. Nah, she's probably not going to do it because this is fact. Women deal with children differently when they have a father in their life. That's just a statistical fact. If that man is in that child's life, even her mama is going to deal with her differently as opposed to how she would deal with her if the man was not in a child's life. All right. Because men, we protect our children. We don't just protect our children from the boogeyman outside or the monster under the bed or the rapist who lives down the block. Oftentimes we have to protect the child from the woman who holds the funky hole that the child fell out of. A lot of times we do more protecting of the children from her than anything else. All right, because a lot of that bullshit that she would be pushing on that child, if we weren't around, it evaporates because, see, we're not going to put up with this shit. And also, the things she would teach the child, the things that she may not teach the child, the things that she'd be showing the child, how she talks to the child, whether or not she whoops the child. All of that shit changes when that child has access to the child's father. It's just a total different dynamic. I know. I've seen, even with myself, when me and my kid's mother was together, she knows she couldn't beat on the kids and all that kind of bullshit. But guess what? As soon as we split, she got a little more handsy with the belts and shit. She got a little more volatile with the mouth and shit. All that shit took place. Now, she didn't go totally off the ship because she knew I had the kids on the weekends and she know they would fucking tell me. But I can just imagine how she would be if I had died or went off and started smoking crack out of the can with the holes in it, not even the crack pipe. You know how they smoke the crack with the little can. If I had went to do that or something like that, or just disappeared or became a street person, I could have just imagined how my children would have been treated by their mother, because I've seen it. I know baby mamas. Okay. I know a few baby mamas throughout my life. And I saw how they treated those children when the guy was living there and how that changed dramatically when the guy wasn't there anymore. So men don't just protect the children from the boogeyman and the scary people outside the house. Oftentimes they have to protect the children from that crazy ass person that the children live with. Now, when we talk about mama being right, like I said earlier, a little while ago, we have a tendency to put mama up high no matter what mama do. Mama can break an iron pipe across our head. Mama can burn us with the iron. Mama can whoop us till we bleeding. She can body slam us, kick us, knock us unconscious, bloody our nose. She can do all that shit, and mama's still the golden calf. Now, your father, all he did was leave you and your old black ass mama, and he's ostracized. He's the villain, and he didn't do anything to you except leave. But mama can damn near kill you, and you still hold her up high like she's some deity. Why do you think we are like that? Because y'all realize that only black people are like that for the most part. We are like that more than anybody else, where we deify our mother. Now, I think mainly it's because most of us are raised by our old black ass mama, because that's all we got. That's all we know. But in the aggregate, why do you ladies believe that we hold our mama up so high, even if she smokes crack, she's a drunk, she let her damn boyfriends rape us and beat us, she let us go to the foster home, she barely fed us, she barely clothed us, she barely housed us, but for some reason, mom is the golden calf? Why do y'all think that is like that in black society?
Well, it's simple. It's because the black woman is God.
What?
Okay, no, but seriously, I think it's got a mixture of different things. So, you touched on this before. It's because, for one, a lot of black children are raised by their mothers, or primarily by their mothers, so that that's the person they spend the most time with, so that's going to be the person they're most familiar with. So it's kind of like sticking with the thing that they know, and probably fearing the unknown if they have little to no contact with the father. But then there's also like in the 70s, the late 60s and the 70s, they started pushing black women more like in the media and stuff. Like they started doing like the whole black is beautiful, for lack of a better term, like they do this now. They've been doing like the black girl magic thing more. They've been, just pushing females more in general. So I think that's another thing. And then it could be like part of the church. A lot of black people were raised in the black church. So, they always say that one thing: you can't criticize your mother, you have to honor your mother, even though the scripture really says honor thy mother and thy father. But they mostly focus on the mother part, because the like what 70% of the church is women. I think it's 70%. And then it also has to do with how, like, a lot of people just demonize black men. So a lot of children, black children, grow up not trusting the men. So that's probably why they lean more towards mom than dad.
Well, um, it's like this, and I agree with everything Catch just said. But it's also like this. White supremacy is the dominating ideology of the land. As such, what is the propaganda in media, popular movies and media concerning white people? White people are portrayed as what? They're good, they're smart, they are sensible, they are peaceable, they're loving, they're wholesome, okay? They don't engage in things like crime and all of that kind of stuff, they're pure. That's the going propaganda because who's in charge of the media, okay? So if I'm the authority, what's going to be the propaganda concerning me? What am I going to put out there? If I control the propaganda about me and I'm the authority over you, what am I going to say about myself? Am I going to denigrate myself? No. Am I going to display all of my shortcomings and faults and flaws? No. I'm going to uplift myself. I'm going to uh, brainwash you about who I am. I'm going to give you your opinion of me. Okay. And I'll accept nothing less. Just like white people don't accept black people's experiences of them, they like to tell us how we should feel about it. Same thing. Okay. I'll give you your opinion. And they don't accept their children's experiences of them. They don't accept anybody's experience of them. Okay. So, and it also does have to do with the concept of the church or whatever. This is even coming from women who aren't particularly religious or don't go to church. Okay. My mother tried to use it as a bludgeoning tool. You should honor your mother and all this kind of stuff. But, I don't like you though. You know, honor thy mother, but you do a lot of bullshit. So how am I supposed to honor that? And it's a psychological tool to be used because if I'm gonna stand on you, then I have to psychologically break you, and I have to make you subservient. I have to make you um, complicit in your own oppression. Okay. If I'm going to be the one to oppress you, I can't very well have you rising up and thinking ill of me. All right. Sound familiar? Does it sound familiar to anybody? Should. Okay. Because it's the same pathology been passed down and given to the black community, specifically the black woman, because women, by and large, are easier to subvert than men are. Okay, that's just due to our natures. Women are, we're more in touch with our emotional highs and lows and all of these things. So it's easier to subvert us ideologically than it is for men. So that's what has happened to us. And I'm not really trying to spin it to a white supremacy thing, but um, that's where a lot of that stuff comes from, the root of it. Okay, she'll tell you that, you know, she's the only thing you've got. And in a way she's right, but then I almost, kind of would prefer to drink muddy water and sleep in a hollow log if I have to deal with you. Really, because some of these mothers, it isn't that she go to the club. It's not that she's got men in and out of the house. Okay, for me, that's not the biggest part of the problem, nor is that the only type of mother that does damage. Okay. The mother who stays at home, but she has a messed up mindset that she passes to her children. If she's passing pathology to her children, she is damaging them, and she can stay at home and cook and clean all day. But if she's giving them a pathology and not a cure, she has ruined her children.
I agree.
I don't disagree with anything either that Kendra or Kat said. I would like to add something whereby I think that to a large extent, what you will see, and I think there is a correlation oftentimes with a lot of these behaviors, and also as like your socioeconomic status, because I do think that in higher socioeconomic statuses, we do see a slightly different pattern. And I do think in lower socioeconomic statuses, as far as say like with white people and other races, you do find closer to us patterns. But that's not the point. My point is that at the end of the day, and I wanted to just bring up because I always think psychology, so automatically I was kind of thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in the hierarchy, the first thing that you need is, the physical stuff. You need air, you need water, you need food, you need to sleep. Um, After that, the next thing above that is security. So you need, safety, you need shelter, you need something stable. And it doesn't have to be good necessarily, but it's got to be safe and it's got to be shelter. And the thing above that is love. You need to be loved. You need to belong. You need to feel included. And I think that many of us attach that first love. I mean, many people in general attach that first love to their mother. If your mother isn't giving you that ultimate love and that ultimate compassion and giving you that thing that you need, you move through life just knowing your mother loves you, then on some level you're always looking for her to fulfill that level of the hierarchy. And until she gives that to you, that's why so many of us, even men and women, are still hung up on, they just want their mom to say sorry. They just want their mom to apologize. They just want their mom to say, yeah, I did really bad, but I do love you. They just want to hear that. And so we get stuck there. And I think that we associate mothers with love, but we associate fathers with respect, which is the next step on the hierarchy of needs. So you'd have to fulfill the love needs to be able to get up to that esteem level where you're looking for respect from others, and to build your self-esteem and to need that recognition. And that's what you need from a father, really. Your father is the one who helps you build your ego and respect, self-respect, respect for others, to be able to earn his respect. And I think that we get stunted at that love level because so many of our mothers fail at actually giving us unconditional positive regard and unconditional love in a way that actually is good. And so as a result, because we're so stuck there, we're not able to advance forward and get to that place of self-esteem and the need to get our father's respect, and for him to acknowledge us and that we've done good. So I just wanted to add that because I think that on a lot of levels, otherwise, when you look at the socialization, when you look at where does this ultimately root from, I think Kendra and Kat's had that totally nailed. I just do think that there is this kind of other aspect that's underlying it all from the nature side versus the nurture side.
Well, I agree with all of the unicorns on this one. And Lady Classic said something that I often say too, because I believe that a lot of us in Black society, we grow up, and y'all, and you heard me say this many times, y'all, but I'm gonna say it again. God damn it! I believe that a lot of us in Black society, we grow up with resentment. Um, and I don't think that the resentment is totally against our quote unquote missing father or absent father or deadbeat father, whatever the case may be. I mean, that goes without saying, that we're going to have some type of, animus towards this man, especially if that animus has to us by our mothers. I mean, we're going to have that. But I also think that a lot of us, man, we hold a lot of resentment for our mothers as well, especially those of us who grew up with a rough life, because we know that we grew up with a rough life because of her. It's not like as a child, it's your fault that mom smokes crack. It's not like when you're a child, when you grow up, mom doesn't pay no attention to you. It's not your fault as a child that mom beats the crap out of you over everything, ignores you, puts other things in front of you. It's not your fault. Now, like Lady Classic was saying, oftentimes we equate mom with love. She's the symbol of love. So we have a tendency to hold her up high. And oftentimes, mom black ass ain't deserving of it. Because see, what you see many, many times with these women, and just like Lady Kendra said, it's not always the woman who smoked crack in the club, tracking men in and out the house in front of the kids. That's a whole different set of circumstances when you talk about mamas who ain't right, because they black asses just ain't right in the head. Also, the women who aren't doing that, and they are not focusing on the children the way that they are supposed to. Because see, for you to be a mother or a mama, you have to have children for the most part. You have to have children that done fell out of your old funky pussy, or you have some children that you take care of. So you're not a mama if you're not taking care of children. You ain't a mama because you take care of dogs and cats and hamsters and birds. No, you have to be taking care of children to be considered a mama. And what I think often happens is with this resentment, I believe that a lot of children grow up and they resent mom because mom didn't because as you see, as a child, this is the thing. As a child, often, no matter how bad mom mistreats you, you don't really see it as mistreatment. When you're a 3 and 4 and 5-year-old child and mama's half feeding you, mama's ignoring you, mama's too busy with her boyfriend and her cell phone and Instagram and Snapchat and all this kind of nonsense, you can't really tell that it's mom mistreating you when you're 4 and 5. But when you get to be about 14, 15, 16, and you start to look back on it, you're like, wait a minute. My mom wasn't shit. Now, even though you think that, you can't say it. Why? Because mom's the golden calf. Even though she smoked crack, she was a drunk, and you heard brothers blowing her back out on a regular basis in the back room. Mom is still a queen, an empress, a sorceress, a elf, a fairy, a dragon, everything. She's Toucan Sam. She's all of them. She's all these magical things, regardless what she does. Your father, if he does one goddamn thing, he's a villain. He's a deadbeat. He's nothing. He's nobody. He doesn't deserve your respect. But like I said before, mama could break a bat across your damn head. Mama could bust you in the head with an iron pipe, bloody your nose, break your arm, put cigarettes out on your damn face, throw you down the stairs, not feed you for a damn week, lock you up in a damn closet, let her damn boyfriends rape you, and god damn it, if you ever get rich, you'll still buy her black ass a house. So this is where we are as black people. And I think, and I'm a true believer of this shit, and people can disagree with me if they want to, but I'm a true believer in this. I believe if you get to be a damn adult and you start to realize that your mama mistreated your ass, that mama's boyfriends raped your ass, that mama's boyfriends molested you, or mama broke bats cross your damn head, mama threw you downstairs and all this kind of bullshit. When you get to be a fucking adult, you need to confront her about that shit. Don't let her go to her fucking grave not apologizing for none of that shit. And if she don't apologize it, don't worry about if she don't apologize for it, don't worry about that either. But you need to let her know that guess what? The shit you did stunted me. The shit you did affected me. The shit you did ruined me. She needs to fucking know that. And we need to quit letting mothers get off. We need to stop letting them just get off. Okay, we got to stop letting them off the damn hook. You know why? Because we don't let our fathers off the hook. We don't. And most of the time, your father, he don't want to be let off the hook. Because anybody who didn't know their father when they were growing up, if they was to go out and seek that man out, when you find that man, you know the first thing that man gonna do, he's gonna apologize for being a shitty father. He's gonna apologize for not being around. He's gonna apologize for not watching you grow up. Your goddamn mama won't apologize for shit, and she saw your ass every day. She'll go right to the fucking grave without apologizing for breaking your damn nose. She won't apologize for breaking that damn broomstick across your head all the time. She won't apologize for letting her creepy rapist boyfriends fucking rape you. She won't apologize for that. And I believe that when your black ass get grown, you need to confront mama's ass over that shit. Because guess what? Her ass ain't forgot. She just think you forgot. So let me ask you ladies this. What do you think about that? Do you think people who were mistreated by their old black ass mama, when they get to be an adult, should they confront mom over this shit? Especially when you talk about kids that done got raped, kids that brutalized, and she put cigarette butts out on them, and she smoked crack with all the money, and they didn't eat for a week, or she just mistreated them. When they get to be an adult, should they confront mom? And when I say confront, I don't mean roll up on mom gangster. I mean sit her black ass down and ask her why she allowed this shit to happen.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, okay, mine's quick. I think that they should just ask her a few questions simply for closure.
Okay, well, I'm going to give a little bit of a story here, which explains the point I'm about to make. So, my grandmother is the devil incarnate. She really is. I think she's a horrible human being, literally. She literally destroyed all three of her children, including my mother. They still haven't picked up the pieces despite being in their 50s now. And she's not sorry for anything because she doesn't care about her kids. She doesn't care about anybody. And she only plays like she cares about her kids when she wants something from them, including to manipulate them into doing terrible things, sometimes even like damn near criminal things, for her to get what she wants. So I really honestly think she's the devil incarnate. Now, with that being said, one day, because my uncle has gone on and off, he's the youngest kid, so he's the kind of has the mama's boy's feelings inside of him, and she manipulated him to turn against his father more than once, like literally getting him actually kicked out of his own home, even on lies. And my uncle, after about 5 years of not speaking to her, wrote her a 40-page long letter, like literally outlining everything she has ever done wrong to all of her kids, to all of her grandkids, from like the dawn of time until present day. And it was to outline all of her crimes, to say, listen, just take some accountability and some responsibility and own up to the fact that you did these things, that they were bad, and that you're sorry, and that you want to do better. So going forward, you're willing to be at least a grandmother to your grandchildren, since you don't even bother with that. And first she refused to read the letter at all. Then one day she had my mom read her the letter, and she cried through the whole thing. So my mom thought, oh, it really got through. And my grandmother sat silently for like 30 minutes. And then with tears in her eyes, she said, how could my son say such terrible, awful things about me? I sacrificed so much for him. How could he lie on me like this? That's how my own son sees me. How dare he? That's why she was crying, because her kid was lying on her. Now, that is a typical response when people go for any type of reckoning with these parents that have treated them horribly and were terrible, terrible mothers. So I think this. I think that, yeah, you gotta go. And you know what? You don't even need to necessarily confront them face to face, especially say if they passed away. Writing a letter, reading out loud, making sure you get it out there somehow. If going to them and confronting them, especially if there's someone, she's someone you still speak to, definitely want to do that and just outline it and do this because you have a right to say it. You have a right for it to be out there, and you have a right to move forward in whatever way it is that you need to move forward. But do not go expecting an apology. Do not go expecting that she's going to, after the way she's treated you terribly, is going to be sobbing and giving you what it is that you went there for, which is an apology, which is to see some type of contrition, because normally that's not what happens at all. And oftentimes, if that's what you're looking for to get the closure, you're never going to have closure. You're going to be waiting forever. My uncle's been waiting 7 years now. It's not going to happen. And I think that you got to be careful with that, because if what you're looking for is for them to give you something, give you some type of response for your closure, now is not the time for you to go and confront them. You need to be at a place where you're over saying, I deserve an apology, so therefore I better get one at the end of this, because it's owed to me. I finally got the courage. I'm finally going to do this, and it's owed to me, because it doesn't matter how fair that would be. It doesn't mean that's how it's going to happen. So you need to be able to go there and know that you stating the words is enough. So that way, and once you do, that will give you the peace and the closure for you to move forward. Knowing that you might never get an apology, the behavior might never ever change. It might fall completely on deaf ears, and that needs to be okay. So that's kind of the way I see that.
I agree with Ruby. You aren't gonna get that apology if your mother was truly abusive. Not she has some shortcomings, because every parent has shortcomings, because people are not perfect. Even though they're your parents and you want to put them on a pedestal, they are human. They're gonna mess up, they're gonna do stuff wrong. But if your mom was really abusive to you, either physically or emotionally or psychologically, however her abuse took shape, um, you can forget it about that apology, okay? Because she's not gonna get that to you. And see, the reason why we hold on to even wanting an apology for so long, even into our adulthood, is because most of us can't get over the fact that the person who brought me into this world doesn't care about me. See, that's a hard pill to swallow. And I know because I swallowed it. Okay. It's a horse pill. And you damn near choke and die with the amount of swallowing that you actually have to do to get that pill down and to get that reality through your head. That the woman who brought me here literally doesn't give a shit. Okay. And me crying or me feeling some type of way or me pouring my heart out or me getting angry about this, that, and the third that she did to me should move you, but it don't. And it won't. And, we hold on to it because we just can't fathom that this person who raised us, even with all of the bullshit and all of the abuse and all of the craziness, that this person that there's no portion of this person's heart deep down where they care, they don't care. It's hard to deal with. But you got to deal with it because she don't give a shit. Okay, just let you know that if your mother, for any of you listening out here, if your mother was truly abusive to you and she sustained that abuse to you, and she has not, even after you've been an adult and you've been away from her, out of her house and all that kind of stuff, if she has not expressed any type of remorse on her own, if you bring it to her, she probably not going to do it. She'll probably deny it. She'll deny accountability. I know this because I've done it already. But by the time I got to really break down to my mother, I was already at a point of not giving a shit about what she thought or what she said. But see, along with that, you have to be willing as a child to go ahead and break the relationship. Go ahead and break it, because you not speaking to her does what? If she's not speaking to you, that affects you how? Because she already don't give a shit. She's already fucked your life. So if she doesn't speak to you or she cries because she didn't get anything for Mother's Day, don't let that touch your fucking heart. Okay? And this is just good sound. It sound cruel, but I'm telling you, this is how you get past it. Because regardless of her birthing you, she does not maintain the right to fuck your entire life up. She doesn't. Her title of mother doesn't give her carte blanche to do whatever it is she does to you, and you just have to take it. And once I opened my eyes to that little piece of business, I was smooth sailing. Okay. And it hurt. It hurt for a long time. I cried. Well, I didn't get her the satisfaction knowing I was crying, but I cried. I think I cried my last tear over her. I was 22 and I was done. I was done with it. In my heart, I was done with it. And the only reason I dropped down and came clean with her for all this other stuff was she kept asking me why I don't speak to her and why our relationship is as broken and distant and non-existent as it is. And so she kept asking me, and if you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you the answer, and I don't care what happens after that. And I broke it down so it could forever be broken, and she stood there and claimed she didn't remember 90% of that shit, which is what I thought she would do. And then after she did that, I went to my house and it continued to be broken because I don't care to fix it. It's broken. She broke the relationship because she did it when I was a kid, and if she not interested in sweeping it up, I'm not gonna sweep it up. I tried. I tried to vacuum it. I tried to sweep it. I tried to get it. She wouldn't let it be cleaned, so it can stay broken forever. And you got to be okay with that.
Yep. Lady Cats. Did Lady Cats answer
I,
this question?
yeah, I answered.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crossed up because I'm used to being four of you. I agree. And Lady Kendra said something very important just now. A lot of times, and Lady Classic said it too. A lot of times, you're not going to get no damn apology. So when you do this confrontation, which I definitely advise you do, if mom was fucked up, definitely. If it's just little bullshit, mom wouldn't let you freaking go out with your friends one or two times, that kind of shit. You don't do it for that. You do it when mom breaks a bat over your head every other month. You do it when mom let her boyfriends rape you. Uh, you do it when mom totally just disregards you for Facebook, Snapchat, blonde wigs, weaves, and dresses and red bottom shoes and makeup and bullshit. See, you do it for those kind of things. You don't do it because mom wouldn't let you go spend the night over your dumbass friend house. No, you don't do it for that. You do it for big shit. All right, shit that stunts you, shit that's gonna affect you till your black ass is dead if you let it. But when you go to confront mom, like the unicorn said, when you go to confront mom, don't go looking for a damn apology, because more than likely you're not going to get it, man. You're just not. All right. And she's going to pretty much do what Lady Kendra said her mom did. Oh, I don't remember you telling me about him raping you. I don't remember breaking that baseball bat over your damn head 20 times. I don't remember leaving y'all home for a week. No, she don't remember none of this shit. It all happened in your damn mind. See, it all happened in your mind. Okay, who you gonna believe, mom or your lying damn eyes? So don't go into it expecting an apology from your black ass mama. It's not going to happen, because if mom was the type of person to apologize to you for something like that, more than likely mom would have been the type of person to keep the shit from happening to you in the first damn place. Let me repeat that. If mom was the type of person who was willing to apologize, if mom was the type of person to say, you know what, I'm sorry, my child, that I had this rapist in the house raping y'all. I'm sorry, my child, that I bust y'all in the head and fractured your skull with that damn iron pipe. I'm sorry, my child, that I let y'all walk around with your toes hanging out your shoes and eating roaches while I hung out in the trap house in the club with my blonde wig on and my red bottom shoes and my $200 dress. I apologize to y'all for that. If she was that type of person to apologize for shit like that, more than likely she would have been the type of person to kept the bullshit from happening to you in the first place, man. So when you go into it, don't go into it thinking your old black ass mama gonna say sorry, because more than likely she's not. When you do it, if she do happen to say sorry, write me a fucking email. Matter of fact, be recording it on the low so yo can play it for me. You can send me the fucking send me the goddamn audio so I can retract my statements. But she's not going to give you no damn apology. So go in there and do it for yourself. Don't do it for mom. Don't try to get mom to give you some type of penance or some shit like that. No, you got to go into it for yourself, man. You got to go into it to free yourself. Like Lady Classic said, maybe mom did, because you know they'll go right to the grave without apologizing for shit. Maybe she did. So write that letter, say it out loud, make a video, sing a song, write a poem. I don't know, but clear it out of yourself, because I will say again, man, we have a lot of resentment and we think we resent all this other shit, man. A lot of us, man, we just resent our black ass mama because our mama fucking her ass wasn't good enough to keep our fucking daddies around, because all she did was slang whole pussy around, so she couldn't keep our fathers around. God damn it, her ass couldn't keep no money. She was too lazy to get out there and grind and take care of us the way she was supposed to. Number three, she probably had too many of us, so she wasn't able to ever do anything, because every goddamn year she got another one of us in her damn gut. So we're resentful for all that shit, man. And we don't like to talk about it. We don't want to talk about mom. We don't want to indict mom, even though mom was a nasty whore. We don't want to indict her. We don't want to indict mom, even though mom had 3 boyfriends and 2 out of the 3 raped our sisters. We don't want to indict mom. Mom is perfect. Mom is golden. Mom did the best that she can. No, the fuck she didn't. She let people rape you. How the fuck did she do the best she can while people are raping you? How the fuck did she do the best she can when she allowed your ass to be hungry for a week while she chased men? That was the best she could do? Really? Really? We got to get past that shit and call it what it is, okay? If mom black ass was a hoe, goddamn it, put it in your mind that mom was a hoe. I'm not saying don't stop loving her, but know that the woman that you love was a crack whore. Know that. Don't put another label on her because you fell out of her old funky pussy, okay? I think that's what's wrong with us, man. We hate reality. Reality just kills us. We love the fantasy. We love to fly in on the plane and see fucking Mr. Rourke and Tattoo standing down there pointing at us in their white suits. No, reality is going to heal black folks. Do y'all understand? Reality is going to heal black folks. And a lot of times, especially when you're talking about women and a lot of men too, women have a tendency to think that getting out there and finding this fucking man is going to heal them. No, it's not going to heal you, girl. It's not going to heal you, boy. What's going to heal you is come to the reality of your own existence and what brought you to this point. And when you talk about placing blame on shit, a lot of times, man, we place blame on the wrong shit. Because a lot of the shit that goes on in our lives, especially as we young, that shit is a direct result of our black ass mama. That's just a fact. And people may disagree with it. But the reality is, when you little, you don't have any control over your life. You don't have control of whether or not you eat every night. You don't have control over whether or not you got sneakers to wear, clothes to wear, and a bed of your own to sleep in. You don't have no control over that. Her black ass do. So if you're lacking that shit, it's because of her. It's not because of you. Now, she'll make it seem like it's, if I didn't have all you kids. Yeah, that's right, Mom. Maybe if you didn't have all of us, we wouldn't have to eat fucking roaches. You understand? So we have to come to the realization of this stuff. And some of us have to understand that, guess what, man? Mama ain't that great, and mama ain't always fucking right. Some of our mamas are dead ass wrong by the shit they did and the way they treated us. That's just a fact. So let me ask you ladies this. If black society, you know, we hold all black ass mamas up no matter what she do. She can be old nasty crack whore and have 9 of us by 9 different people and have us living in a bunch of refrigerator boxes taped together as a house. And we still love her, even though she has us living like that and we're eating fucking leaves and our sneakers are the bottom of our feet. The bottom of, we ain't had a decent pair of shoes in so long that the bottom of our feet look like the sole of a sneaker. But we still think mom's the greatest. So that being said, if mom is the greatest, no matter what she does, do you believe that we have this demented view of ourselves, thinking that we are the greatest, no matter what our black asses do?
I don't know. With black people, I see 2 things. Either we're overly critical of ourselves, like we hold ourselves to a super high, unrealistic standard, but it's like okay for everybody else to be a certain way, to make mistakes and stuff. Or when we do make mistakes, there will be some of us who will have like an excuse for everything. So like I see it as like where black people are concerned, it's like those 2 sides of the spectrum. Either we're super hard on ourselves or we have an excuse for every little thing, every little messed up thing that we do. There's like no balance to it.
Mm-hmm. There's never any middle ground.
Right.
You know why, don't you? Because middle ground is usually in the realm of reality. And you know us black folks, we hate that old reality shit.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, would you mind rephrasing the question or phrasing the question again? I cut out, so I missed the half of it.
I said that we well, I might as well go into the whole thing.
Okay.
I said that we hold mom up high no matter what she does. She cannot feed us. She can have us living in a house made out of refrigerator boxes. Uh, she can have us got there without shoes so long that the bottom of our feet look like the sole of a sneaker. But we still think mom is the greatest no matter what she does. So, does that warp us? Does that give us this demented freaking vision of ourselves, thinking that we're the greatest no matter what we do?
Hmm. I think that because clearly I don't think that it would apply to men. So I think in this case, we're talking about women. And I think that what ends up happening is it's not that many of these women end up thinking that they're the greatest no matter what they do, but rather that all sins will be forgiven when it comes to their children, say looking at them because they're mothers now. And you know, it's the golden card that gets you a pass no matter what you do. Your kids have to love you. I mean, I've literally heard those kids on Maury. That's why they want to have a baby at a 10 or 8 or 11 or whatever, because they want something to love them unconditionally. And it's not the other way around. They don't want something they can love unconditionally. They don't want a family. They want a being that came out of them that will have no choice but to love them unconditionally, oftentimes because they feel they don't have that unconditional love from somebody, whether it's their mother, whether it's their father, whether it's whoever. And normally that's what you hear. So I think that it's the matter of, I don't even think that these mothers, the ones that we're talking about, I don't think that they think that they are inherently amazing. And I don't really think they have forgotten anything. I think they have just put massive walls around the truths. Then there's a million gaping holes inside of their memory that they've literally, I call it revisionist history syndrome, where rather than remembering that event in such a way that they should feel shame and guilt and basically hate themselves for it, they literally rewrite the story 5 seconds after it happens so that way they don't have to feel shame or guilt or whatever. And there are walls around the truth. And if you get anywhere near the truth, what happens? That's when you see them, their jaw clenches, they get angry, they start attacking in any way, shape, or form because they are terrified of those walls coming down and them having to feel the truth, because they know every time they get near one of those walls, it's shame and guilt and self-hatred. So I think that from that perspective, though, I do think we have a tendency to not actually deal with any of our really difficult emotions, any of the really difficult things that we go through, rather than knowing that there's a healthy way to work through that. Feel the pain. Don't run from it. Feel the pain, experience the pain, live in the pain, learn how to work through the pain, get through to the other side. I think many of us never learn how to do that. We learn how to swallow the pain, box it up somewhere, pretend it doesn't exist, move on. And while it sits there and continues to destroy our futures every time we take a step forward, we never go back and try to analyze those things because we've never been taught healthy coping mechanisms or modeled them or even told at any point in time that maybe we should ever face our own feelings.
Um, I agree with what Ruby is saying. She touched on something that is an issue with a lot of Black women across the board, whether they are biological mothers or not. Um, Black women as a collective suffer from shame, guilt, self-loathing and self-hate, um, and depression, trauma. And the reason why we suffer from those things is because we never address them. And we only pass down the pathologies of them to our children. Um, if you want to damage, if you want to see a Black woman go crazy, you'll say two things to her. You will call her a bad mother, or you will call her a bad person. Okay. because no matter how low they go, they never want to think of themselves as a bad person, as inherently you are a shit person. I watch stuff like some of the shows that Iyanla does, and while I don't agree with everything she says or all of her assessments, one thing that I consistently agree with her about is she seems to have a disdain for ratchets, and she also likes to hold mothers specifically to some accountability about the stuff that they do with their kids. And um it was one show where she had a woman who had all daughters. She had a lot of daughters. They were all adults. And the mother was raped by a family member when she was like 12 or 13. Come to realize she sent one of her other daughters to live with that same person who raped her daughter. Now, only because she's biologically the mother, somehow we have to find some excuse to make it okay, or to not even so much make it okay, but explain why she would have done something like that, or say, rather than just saying you're a piece of shit, that's why you did it, because you didn't give a fuck about your daughter. You didn't care. It happened to you. You internalized it. Nobody helped you. No, you didn't see to the trauma, so you passed the trauma along the line. That's what you did. And it, just like it messed you up, it messed them up. Um, these women don't think that they are wonderful. They don't. As a matter of fact, they know the opposite. But then that is what the fantasy and the defense mechanism is for. Because I can't have people actually seeing me for who I am. I can't have people around me actually seeing me for what I am. Okay. I have to have the opinion of others as seeing me in a positive light, or if I'm struggling, they have to know that I've done the best that I could, and we were just poor, but I still did the best. No, actually you didn't do the best that you could, because the poverty isn't usually the problem, it's the abuse that comes with it. I didn't The poverty I can get over. If we just didn't have money to do this, that, and the third, yeah, as a kid it sucked. But if we were in poverty, but I knew that mom really did do the best that she could, and she really was a good mom, I can get over that. Okay. But the poverty actually was the easy part. It was all the rest of the crap that was happening that was messed up, that messed me up. So these women don't believe that they are wonderful. Um, they know that they suck. But like Ruby said, the whole point is to birth a child so that that child can owe you something. And what that something is owe you love. They owe you honor and respect, something that you have been unable to acquire on your own merit. You are unable to have people to respect you. You can't make people love you, but you can inspire respect. And you can't even do that because you're not respectable. You don't even know what it looks like. Um, you try to make a man love you by throwing your body at him. That's not love. Okay? You don't know what that looks like. Um, and so you have this child, not for the sake of, I want to bring a kid into the world so that I can love them and rear them and pass on all these great things that I can pass on. No, 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 no. It's self-serving. The entire concept of having the kid is self-serving. Okay, the kid owes you. This is why they feel that they can abuse the child, because you are my property. You belong to me. I own you. And what do you do with your property? Anything you damn well please. And no one can say anything. If I buy a brand new Lamborghini and I sit there and I spray paint it and key it up, somebody might look at me like, "Ooh, why are you doing that car like that?" And if I was stupid enough to be doing it and I turn around and say, "It's none of your damn business. It's my car. I bought it. It's mine. I do what I want to do with it." See, it's the same thing. Only we're talking about a human being, but I own that human being. So I do what I want with it. If I beat it, curse it out, torture it, have some neglect it, talk crazy to it, whose business is it? Nobody's business. And you'll hear them say that. Then that's my child. That ain't none of your business what I say to my child. Really? It ought to be somebody's business what they say to it. And I'll end it like this. Because me and actually Charles was saying something about this earlier in the chat. See, the children have resentment for the absentee father, not because he's gone. It's not even because of the lies that their mother might have told. It is because, why didn't you come save me? How could you not know that I was suffering, and why didn't you come get me? That's what the child is thinking.
Of course, I totally agree with you, Lady Kendra. Not a lot you can say after that, y'all. Not a lot can be said after Kendra speaks. Um, See, here's the thing with me as a man. Um, those of you who follow the Prophet of Thought series, you know that I grew up in a nuclear family. I grew up with a lot of brothers. My father was like a silverback gorilla. And I had a lot of male energy in my life. And y'all know that my siblings were a lot older than me. So they were out the house, and after a while, it was just me and my sister. And I spent a lot of time with my father. I mean, me and my father was like thick as thieves. So, but I also realized that there are a lot of us who can't tell that story as men. A lot of the people that I knew, okay, a lot of brothers that I knew that I grew up with, they grew up with just their mom. A lot of brothers that I grew up, they never seen their father. I never saw their father, and they never saw him either. And when guys come to my house, it was strange. It was like a strange world because, when they'd come there, I'd be doing shit, with my old man. Me and my old man would have our shirts off, chopping wood, that kind of shit. And it was crazy because people literally, to be honest with you, now that I really think of it, at times people actually kind of made fun of me because I had a father. How weird is that? It's like, oh man, you got a dad at home, so you can't do it. Yeah, people actually made fun of the fact that I had a father. That lets you know that these brothers not only were being raised by women, that they had picked up a woman slash feminine slash effeminate ideology, because they actually think that it's a humorous, abnormal thing to be in the backyard with your old man, both of y'all with your shirts off, chopping wood. Or you and your man in the back, you and your old man in the backyard throwing the football around or playing. They thought that was weird. They thought that was weird. So I'll say this. I think that, like you ladies said, I believe that a lot of women have, they become mothers for selfish reasons. I don't think they become mothers because they want to bring somebody into this world and, give them a life better than theirs. They don't bring someone into this world because they are in love with the person who squirted this little person into them. I don't believe any of that shit. I believe a lot of these women, like you ladies said, they bring these children forth because that's someone who they can literally control the love. Like you ladies said, control the love, inspire the respect, even though they could be the most horriblest person, have the most horrible attitude. They may not even necessarily live in poverty. They may just be a horrible person, period. And they even 10 times as horrible to the child. But they get to control the fact that this child has to love them unconditionally, no matter what they do to this kid, no matter how they treat this kid, no matter how bad they abuse and neglect the kid, they still have the control over the love. I know y'all have seen this because I've talked about this before. You see women, right? And they have little toddlers with them, because it ain't hard to find women walking around with kids. Unfortunately, like 80% of our women is walking around with kids, okay? Even though only about 28% of them got husbands, but 80% of them got kids. So you see these women walking around with these little kids. And I've seen women, beat kids, look like they beat them senseless. Okay. And these be little tykes. These ain't kids that's 10, 12, 13. No, these kids are little tykes, man. They 3 and they 2 and they 4. And they beat these kids so goddamn bad. And after that, total, just brutal treatment of that child. Do you know what that child turns around and does after that? He goes just like this to that same fucking person that just fucking beat him down to the ground and hit him with a switch and a belt and a stick. He gets up crying, but he gets up crying, reaching for the same fucking person that just got finished brutalizing him 10 seconds ago. And I think that fucks with us as a people. And like Lady Kendra said earlier, we have taken on the mind frame of our oppressor, because as much as white folks beat us down, as much as white folks do shit to us, a lot of us, because we love white folks so much, we're just like this to the fucking white folks. No matter how much they done brutalized us, we still like this to the white folks. We can't leave white daddy, no matter how bad he treats us. And I have seen that with children, man. I've seen women, man, beat kids so bad, man, I felt sorry for them. All right? I felt sorry for them. And the first thing these children do, man, after that whooping, they still reaching for her. And I think that fucks us up so bad, man. I think that it's a problem because, see, men, we don't get that benefit of the doubt. If we do something wrong to our kid, the last thing they're gonna fucking do is embrace us. That's the last thing they're gonna do. They'll be like, fuck you, dad. No matter what we do, we can do some little shit. We can not show up somewhere or goddamn miss the child support payment or some bullshit like that. Not break a fucking broomstick across their fucking back, like mom does. We can do some minute shit, okay? Something small. And they're like, the hell with you, dad. But mom, shit, mom could shoot them. Shit, mom could throw them off a cliff. Mom could run them over with a car and they'll get right up from being ran over with a fucking bent, fucking fucked up arm and half their head hanging off, and they'll be still walking, reaching towards mama after she done ran them over with her damn Honda. So, I mean, we have to get past this shit though, man. We have to stop it. I mean, we have to stop this shit. We have to stop thinking that mom is this great fucking person just because we fell out of her old funky pussy. Okay. Mom fucks with us. Mom fucks us up. And like just like Lady Kendra got done saying, a lot of us have that resentment because of the shit that went on with our mama. And guess what? We felt like our father should have came and saved us from her black ass. Lady Kendra's right. She's right. Because a lot of us, our fathers should have came and saved us from this crazy ass woman who don't give a shit about us. A lot of us, we wasn't none but a check anyway. So all we was a goddamn check, a means to an ends. So she can buy more hair, so she can chase more penises, so she can buy more shoes, shit, so she could drink more liquor, smoke more crack. That's the reality, y'all. And I will say this again. Reality is going to heal black folks. Not fantasy, not reality TV, not trying to be like white people or the pathologizing bullshit. No. Reality is going to heal black folks. And part of the reality is coming to the realization that a lot of our mothers fucked us up. They fucked us up. You know why? Because they were the only fucking one raising us. Your daddy didn't fuck you up if he wasn't there. He wasn't there. So how the fuck did he influence you? Well, how the fuck did he teach you to do all this crazy shit you do? You don't know him. You've never seen him. He wasn't there. You can't blame him because your ass crazy. You got to blame the fucking person who you spent 17, 18, 19 years of your life with. Those are the fucking influences your ass picked up. You ain't picked up no influences from somebody who live on the other side of the world just because he stuck his dick in your old mama. So we need to get off of that because that's not reality. It's just not. Okay, it's not. That bullshit you picked up as a kid, you picked that shit up from her. You got it from her. All right? More than likely, if you got a fucked up personality, you picked that shit up from her. If you a violent motherfucker, you probably picked it up from her. Okay? If you think your ass can't get out of poverty, guess what? Because she the one who gave you that fucking poverty mind state. Her. It's her. Trust me. It's her. And yeah, if you tell her about it, she'll conveniently forget. Okay? She will conveniently forget. Oh, I don't know what you're, like Lady Kendra said. Oh, I don't remember what you're talking about. I don't remember doing that. Oh, what are you talking about? Bullshit. She remembers. She fucking remembers. She's just hoping that you forgot. She want to bury it because, you know, now she's older, you know, especially if she was an old whole bag mom, okay? Now that she's like 50 and 60, you know, she ain't going to cop to you and be like, well, you know, all 9 of y'all was trick babies. You know, I just was fucking these niggas because I didn't know what else. You think she's going to say that? No, she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember any of that. She doesn't remember mistreating you. She doesn't remember her fucking boyfriend's raping you. She doesn't remember fucking putting cigarettes out on your back. Nah, she don't remember any of that stuff. You remember now, but she doesn't. It's like she wasn't there. She was a different person. She's a sanctified, religious, saved person, and all this so kind of bullshit now. Don't let her get away with it. And when I say don't let her get away with it, I don't mean be like, Mom, you're lying. No, fucking let her know that you remember, even if her black ass don't, because your mama's lying. That's what your moms do. One thing about your mama, she will lie to your ass, more than your father will. And those of you who got mamas who lie, you know I'm telling the truth. She lied to you. She lied to white folks. She lied to men. She lied to her own black ass self. All right. So when she's telling you she don't remember, just think of it like this. Oh, this is just mom telling more black face ass lies. Okay, I'm good. But anyway, if we as a people, because like I said before, I'll say it again, reality will heal black folks, not bullshit. Confronting our realities, like Lady Classic said, feeling the goddamn pain because we learned to run from it from mom's black ass because that's all she does. We as black people, if we were to, instead of putting our moms on these fucking pedestals that most of them just don't deserve. Let's just be realistic. A lot of our mothers don't deserve to be on no fucking pedestal, not just for some of the shit she did to us and did not do for us, for a lot of the shit she allowed to happen to us. Because trust me, a lot of it she just allowed, ignored, and denied. That's just a fact. But given that, if we as people, if we were to face the reality of it and call it what it is, I think a lot of us will not only be more complete and balanced people, even if we didn't have a father, I think that we would be healthier mentally, because I believe that a lot of us, and my black ass included, we need some mental therapy, many of us. So let me ask you ladies this. Do you ladies believe that the mental health crisis, because there is a crisis in black society, whether we want to believe it or not, do you ladies believe that mothers contribute to the mental health crisis in black society due to the fact that a lot of our goddamn mothers are part of that mental crisis?
I do. Like particularly, for example, of days they've been talking about how they see
You
themselves,
faded in
and
and out.
it,
Lady Cats, you faded in and out.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so like for the past couple of days, Angry Man's been talking about like how black women see themselves and stuff. And it got a little bit into like that whole colorism thing. And what I've noticed is that like, because self-esteem is like another thing that goes into like mental health and stuff. Um, a lot of these girls who are like dark skinned, who want to blame everything like on, they don't ever think of like the images that their mothers might be giving them. Like if your mother's sitting up there, calling you a black bitch or a black bastard or something, or sitting up there wearing a blonde weave and having contacts in her eyes, I mean, that's going to contribute to how you see yourself. Because if you look like your mother and your mother seems like she hates everything about herself, she's teaching you to hate yourself. And then like there's other um things like say if your mother is struggling and you have to now get a job because her job doesn't pay enough or whatever, and she's basically putting the financial um responsibility onto you, even though you're a child. That's like a level of stress you're not supposed to have as a child or something. Like if you wanted to have a job just to have like a little extra, she's like, I need your whole check, my bills, or all the bills for the house. Like that's supposed to be her job as a mother and stuff. So like there are different ways in which a mother can contribute to a child's mental well-being. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Um, yeah, mothers can contribute to it. I think, um, and I kind of spoke to it a little bit earlier about the traumas that we go through. Um, Young, you know, growing up in the hood and all of that good stuff. Um, and we don't see anyone about these things so that we can heal off and perhaps not transfer again the pathologies that we have on to the next generation. And because there's a stigma in the Black community about not seeking professional help, we tend to hold uh, the pathologies in, and we tend to not want to discuss it with anyone. And that goes back to the guilt, the shame. We internalize the guilt and the shame of others, or the guilt and the shame of some traumatic event happening to us that we didn't have control over. And so that guilt and that shame actually keeps us from speaking out. Okay. And we learn not to speak out against the people who hurt us, because another thing in the Black community is when children are molested, the molester is often protected. So we don't learn about calling people out and making them accountable for the horrible things that they do. Um, so when we don't learn how to hold other people accountable, or to um, place guilt or shame where it should be, we start internalizing those things. Um, we normalize abnormal behavior. So a woman who is raising children and she's abusive, we'll look at that and we'll shake our head, man, look what she's doing, without actually understanding that she's probably bipolar, or she probably has some mental instability, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? She's promiscuous because she's got something wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, promiscuity is a symptom of bipolar. Okay, so we have normalized the crazy behavior, and we dish it off as, well, she's just ratchet. Well, she may be ratchet, but she's also got a mental, a chemical imbalance in her head, okay, that she actually needs to see to, which is why she smokes drugs or pops Zans or drinks a lot, because she's self-medicating, because she is so guilty and ashamed that she won't seek professional help to actually help stabilize her, so that she can be at least somewhat approaching normal and productive for for herself and her children. You know, so we have a lot of undiagnosed mental illness, and that's, like I said, due to that shame and that negative stigma that we have in the Black community. If you're going to see a psychiatrist, you're crazy, you know, and you should be shunned because you're doing that. So you just act right, girl, just act right, you know. But what if she can't? What if she can't just act right? What if she actually needs to be like medicated out of a hospital? You know, maybe she needs that therapy once a week, because she needs these 3 pills or these 2 pills or whatever, this regimen, to actually keep her stable, so her thoughts and her emotions can actually be under some type of control. Because a lot of times that abuse that's happening when the man isn't there is due to an emotional imbalance and instability. She can't control this. Okay, and that's not always mental illness, but she doesn't have any control. So she will start abusing her children. She'll take it out on them. Whatever she's feeling, she'll take it out on them. Whatever she's doing, she won't have a lot of boundaries. Okay, because maybe when she was young and she was raped, that destroyed her concept of boundary. So now that she's an adult, she doesn't have any. So she doesn't have any. She doesn't know how to create them. You know what I'm saying? So it ties into a lot of things. But yes, to answer the question, mothers do contribute, especially in the Black community, to the ongoing hush hush mental health crisis that we have.
Um, I think that mothers contribute. I think that if you're looking on a very small scale, you could say, well, they contribute massively, and they are a massive um, proportion of the reason why we have so much mental health issues going on. But I think that when you look at it from a bigger scale and a bigger perspective, you can see, for example, personality disorders are something that are created. People are not just inherently, they just have a personality disorder, kind of like with something like depression, for example, where you might have a predisposition to develop major depressive disorder, but you need some type of trigger. Personality disorders are a little bit different in the fact that many of them, just about anybody could develop a personality disorder. Something like borderline personality disorder, which runs rampant in our community, especially amongst our women, is something that's being created, whereby, normally what ends up happening invariably is they are finding out that they're not getting the right type of attention as little girls. Bad things are happening to them, and they aren't getting the right type of, say, support from the family. Like as Kendra was saying, the molesters are protected. So this isn't just a matter of them being molested at young ages and having to deal with that, but also the fact that they are telling someone and then they are literally being punished for it. They are literally being told to shut up for it. They are literally seeing that they are getting rewards for behaving in certain ways, for manipulating situations in certain ways. And so as a result, they, instead of interacting with the world and developing socially normally, they develop abnormally. And I think at the point where we obviously can look at the single mothers, the ones that are not doing well for their children at all, or who are abusive and who are negligent, um, they're already having their kids develop really negative attachment styles. They're having their kids, as Brother X was saying, kids are naturally predisposed. If you spank them, they'll literally run in a circle. They run away from you because you were the pain. Now they get halfway around and they go, and I need comfort, and they come back to mom. That isn't a negative thing in and of itself if the spanking was appropriate. They were being spanked for, punishment and whatever, and it was being done out of love. And then they come back to mommy for the hugs when they're young. That's not an abnormal thing. It is an abnormal thing when the only person that you're running to for love, because you're programmed that way, is the one who's literally physically abusing you. And your natural instinct should be to run far and fast in the opposite direction. So again, you think about that, it's like, yeah, these mothers are creating all kinds of things that will later turn into psychological disorders and other things that really need treatment, and that are affecting our community negatively, and obviously affecting their children later when it comes down to them being parents to their own children. And it's this vicious cycle whereby, not having fathers in the home. Yes, there are women who absolutely kick the fathers out, who use their children as pawns, and so on and so forth. And then there are the fathers who die or are murdered. There are the fathers who get locked up and can't be around for 10 years, whether it's on a real charge or it's some trumped up bullshit that we know our men are being sent to jail all the time for some trumped up bullshit, or whether or not it's a matter of he walked away because she's a psycho bitch and it wasn't going to be a thing that he'd be able to go to court and take his kids, and so he said, nah, fuck it. Or you know what? Maybe he was just not grown up and just not ready for it and he walked away. One way or the other, not having fathers in the home is contributing. Being in this school to prison pipeline, whereby you are literally being programmed that you ain't shit, you're never going to be shit, and you are literally being funneled in such a way that no matter what, you're going to end up in prison, that's contributing. Like, there's so many things that are against our community right now that are contributing to the development of psychological disorders, personality disorders, and, you know, behaviors that in essence are destroying themselves and each other. It's astronomical. And I think that, you know, in these conversations, the thing is that these women who are these piece of shit moms at some point were children who could have been someone in something, but guess what? They had a piece of shit mom, or they had a piece of shit life thrown at them, and this is who they became. And you know, those dads, when people are like, oh, he ain't shit, he's not taking care of his kids, you know what? At some point he was also a child. So you have to remember that these are often people who are coming from cycles of shitty ass families, from shitty ass parents who aren't doing their jobs and who aren't rearing their kids and who aren't protecting and loving and supporting their kids, so they become something. And I think what we need to recognize is the fact that, yeah, this woman is a piece of shit, but no one raised her. There's a good chance no one raised her, or when they did, someone did the same thing that was done to her, and she really doesn't know better because all she's seen around her is the same pieces of shit. And you probably look at her family, and her mom was like that, and her grandma was like that, and her auntie was like that, and her cousin was like that, and this is what she saw, and this is what she knows. And that is the part where it's like the psychological disorders we have going on in our community, to try to address it, let alone to resolve a lot of it, make it better, it's going to be a really large task. And I don't think we can really look at any one single factor. Obviously, the mother thing is huge. And I don't think any of us can, because from an emotional and a psychological perspective, when I see the way that these women treat their kids and view their kids, it repulses me. And I think that, you know, we have an emotional reaction and a psychological reaction to it because it's repulsive, because it's literally against your biology. So, you know, when we think about it from that side, I think we feel the pressure that we know this needs to change. But there's so many other things that need to change too that are impacting us, whether it was from as we're developing, getting older, or, you know, a lot of shit is coming and hitting people who were okay until their 20s, and then something that just regularly affects our community comes in and knocks them down, and now they're suffering from major depressive disorder, with maybe psychotic features or whatever for the rest of their lives too. So I think there's just a lot. In conclusion, are mothers a contributing factor? Absolutely, but I don't even think they begin to tell us even half of the story.
Well, I'm going to say this. Well, the first thing I'm going to say before I say that is you need to be looking right here. See right here? Somewhere in there. Need to be dropped a few coins in that bucket if you're feeling generous. And also, you might want to drop a few likes right here. See right there? I need likes in this bucket, coins in this one. Likes in this one, coins in this one. Come on. Now then, I'm going to say this because we coming to the end of the show. Oftentimes, and I agree with everything that the unicorn said tonight. I'm like in total agreement with everything that they said tonight, because as always, they always put a very, very good perspective, and they always come from different angles, and I am in total agreement with them tonight. But I will say this. When it comes to our mothers, okay, yeah, We may fall out of her old funky pussy. Okay. And we may spend a lot of time with her, watching her and learning from her and loving her, idolizing her, deifying her, fearing her at times. I think the most important thing that we have to do as far as our mother is concerned is forget the deification and the idolizing and the fear, and try to get some understanding of who she really is. Because see, once you're out of her gut, you're not connected to her umbilical cord anymore. You two aren't one anymore. You're your own person. So you have to kind of take stock as you're growing in the things that your mother is doing. The influences she's putting on you, the shit she's willing to do in front of you, the shit she's not willing to do for you. Um, in my mind, I believe that often our mothers don't even really care about us in the true sense that a mother should. Um, they often allow things to happen to you that they could have stopped. Um, they brutalized you over pretty infinitesimal things because, like Lady Kendra said, they couldn't control it for whatever reason. And as we get older, we have to take stock in that. We can't be blinded by the fact of her telling us, oh, I raised you, I carried you for 9 months, and also kind of nonsense. Yeah, all that may be true. But with a lot of us, you did a really shitty job. And some of us, they did a shitty job while they was carrying us. They drunk, they smoked, they fucked, they did all kind of bullshit. They didn't even do a good job of that. So I'm not telling you to not love your mother. I'm not telling you that. I'm not. I'm not telling you to disrespect your mother. I'm not telling you to confront your mother with angst and brutality and anger. No, I'm not doing any of that. But what I am telling you to do, as far as your mother is concerned, you have to really, really think and think hard as an adult. Was your mother really a mom? Was she really a mama? And if she wasn't, don't you feel bad because it's not your fault that she was your mother, but was never your mom. It's not your fault. It's nothing you did because, see, you didn't choose to be here, but she did choose to have you. So her not wanting to be your mom is her problem, not yours. And I think when a lot of us come to the realization of that, we will heal. And I will say this again, that will be us coming to the realization of reality, because reality, I will say this again tonight for the last time, reality will heal Black folks. And unfortunately, some of our mothers, they weren't our mom. And guess what? They Black asses wasn't always right. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I want to thank you for watching tonight. I want to thank my moderators, always doing an excellent job, always showing up, doing what they supposed to do. I want y'all to have your Black behinds here next week, because next week we're going to be doing the same thing, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. T.L.O.T, the ladies of thought, will be here dropping juice again, just like they did tonight. I'm pretty sure Lady Ming will be back next week. Also, I want y'all to get on down there to the Prophet of Thought series Facebook page. That's Prophet of Thought series at Facebook. That's the main page. We creeping up on 1,000 follows. I can't believe it, but it's happening. Let's go ahead and try to get it to 1,000 before the month of May is out. Also, go to the TPOT bandwagon page. Go there, send a friend request. We'll click it back quick. And also, make sure you find yourself on the TPOT fan group page on Facebook. That's the TPOT, the Prophet of Thought series fan group page. Request to be a member. You'll get accepted just like that. I promise. There's a lot of good stuff on there. You don't just see stuff from me, you see stuff from other people too. So it's something good you should check out. Also, make sure you hit us up on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Prophet of Thought on Instagram. Be sure to go there, check the page, follow us. We've got a few followers. We climbing on the old Instagram mountain. But also, I want you to get on down there to our Twitter page. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. I'm going to haunt your black asses in your sleep tonight. And also, get down there and check out the website, www.don'teventryi.wikifoundry.com. That's www.don'teventryi.wikifoundry.com. A lot of good stuff on there. Some of X's old archives from the Nubia Hood radio days are there. And also, if you go there now, you can run into the Unicorn 4. They all have their own separate pages now. The site is still under construction, but when you go there, you will see the Unicorn 4 there. You can catch them there too. And of course, you can catch my black ass down there as well. So, once again, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight, the audience, for watching, spending some time with us. Make sure you drop a few coins in the bucket here if my mods would be so nice to put the link up one time. And also make sure you drop some likes in the bucket here. It's greatly appreciated. I want to thank the ladies of thought tonight. Lady Classic, Lady nice old topic, giving you their breakdown and analysis. And of course, ex black ass will be here too. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do. Open your minds. And we out of here, y'all.
The Prophet of Thought series.
All right, cheers, y'all. See you next week.
Peace, folks. Oh.